These three narratives from the Christian tradition are rich in their exploration of human nature, consciousness, morality, and the complex dynamics of human life. They offer insights into the emergence of self-awareness, the awakening to moral consciousness, and the intrinsic nature of suffering and labor as fundamental aspects of the human condition. The journey from a state of innocence to a state of conscious awareness encapsulates a profound transition in the human experience. In the genesis of human consciousness, Adam and Eve initially existed in an unconscious state, blissfully ignorant in their paradisiacal garden. They were untouched by the concepts of mortality or self-awareness, living in a realm where the notions of death and individual identity were non-existent. This serene ignorance was disrupted when Eve, influenced by a serpent's cunning, consumed an apple, a symbolic act of awakening. This fruit opened her eyes to the stark realities of existence, and she, in turn, shared this enlightenment with Adam. As they both partook in this newfound awareness, their first realization was their own nudity. This was not merely a physical revelation, but a profound awakening to their vulnerability and the finite nature of their lives. Such awareness led them to cover themselves, an act symbolizing the emergence of self-consciousness, a trait that sets humanity apart from the rest of the animal kingdom. This narrative is laden with multiple layers of complexity. The awareness of one's nudity transcends the mere physical realm, serving as a metaphor for the exposure of one's inherent flaws and the acknowledgement of one's mortality. This is partly why humans universally wear clothing, a practice that serves numerous functions ranging from protection to the expression of cultural identity. In a broader sense, clothing acts as a shield, not only against the elements, but also against the vulnerability and scrutiny of others. The emergence of self-consciousness in humans represents a significant departure from the rest of the animal world. While certain animals possess basic self-recognition abilities, humans have developed a far more complex sense of self. We have constructed entire philosophies and articulated theories about our existence and individuality, a feat unparalleled in the animal kingdom. However, this self-consciousness often bears the weight of neuroticism and negative emotions. The heightened awareness of oneself, especially in social contexts or under public scrutiny, can lead to feelings of embarrassment and anxiety. This aspect of human psychology reveals the double-edged nature of our self-awareness. Further, the story delves into the relationship between self-consciousness, vulnerability, and the moral distinction between good and evil. The awakening of Adam and Eve to their own vulnerabilities brought with it a profound understanding of the potential to inflict harm. This knowledge marked the birth of moral consciousness, enabling them to distinguish between right and wrong actions based on their consequences, especially in terms of causing suffering to others. The consequences of Adam and Eve's actions lead to a shift in their existence. Despite divine warnings, their pursuit of knowledge and understanding led them away from their initial state of innocent ignorance. Consequently, they faced expulsion from Eden. This transition signified the onset of human suffering and labor, marking these as fundamental elements of the human condition. This tale encapsulates a profound theory of suffering as an inherent component of self-conscious existence. Suffering, according to this narrative, is not merely a product of external societal or environmental factors, but is deeply embedded in the very fabric of being human. This concept invites a more introspective understanding of suffering, emphasizing the role of self-awareness and vulnerability in shaping the human experience. The narrative continues with the story of Cain and Abel, further exploring human responses to inequality and rejection. Cain's sacrifices to God, unlike Abel's, were not received favorably, leading Cain to confront God, about the seeming injustices of life. God's response to Cain highlights the importance of personal responsibility and the dangers of harboring sin and resentment. This part of the story underscores the human tendency to attribute personal failures to external circumstances, often overlooking the destructive nature of such attitudes. Cain's eventual murder of Abel, driven by envy and resentment, marks a pivotal moment in the annals of human history, the introduction of violence and fratricide. This act, far more than a mere sibling rivalry gone wrong, symbolizes the broader human capacity for destructive actions driven by deep-seated negative emotions. It illustrates how unchecked bitterness and jealousy can escalate into devastating consequences, leaving an indelible mark on the fabric of human relationships and history. The narrative does not merely stop at this fratricidal event, but extends to explore the generational impact of Cain's actions. His lineage is marked by an increasing severity in retribution and vengeance, portraying a pattern of escalating violence that resonates through generations. This increasing trend of hostility and revenge is a testament to the deep-rooted aggressive instincts within humanity, tracing back to Cain's initial act of violence. This part of the story serves as a stark reminder of the enduring consequences of our actions, not just on ourselves but on the subsequent generations. The story of the flood, which follows, ties these themes together. The flood is depicted not just as a divine response to the rampant corruption and wickedness of humanity, but also as a metaphor for the cyclical nature of human existence, a recurring theme of societal rise, decay, and renewal. The flood represents a form of cleansing, an erasure of the accumulated moral and ethical decay, yet it also serves as a poignant reminder of the persistent human flaws that often precipitate such drastic divine interventions. These narratives touch upon themes of divine justice and human free will. The characters in these stories are not merely passive recipients of their fate, but are actively engaged in making choices that have far-reaching consequences. The divine responses to these actions, whether it is the expulsion from Eden or the flood, are portrayed as reactions to human choices, emphasizing the theme of responsibility and the moral weight of decisions. In addition to exploring the individual journey, these stories also delve into the collective human experience, the dynamics of family, societal structures, and the consequences of human actions on a broader scale. The story of Cain and Abel, in particular, illustrates the complexities of sibling relationships, the impact of parental favoritism, and the broader implications of individual actions on familial and societal harmony. The stories also highlight the transformative power of suffering and the potential for growth and learning through adversity. The expulsion from Eden, for instance, while representing a loss of innocence, also marks the beginning of a journey towards self-discovery, resilience, and adaptation. The challenges faced by Adam and Eve, and later by their descendants, serve as catalysts for development and change, illustrating the complex relationship between suffering and growth. In summary, these ancient stories, rich in symbolism and metaphor, provide a deep well of wisdom on the human condition. They challenge us to reflect on our own lives, our choices, and their impact on ourselves and others. These narratives encourage a deeper understanding of the inherent complexities of being human, the moral dilemmas we face, and the continuous quest for meaning and purpose in our lives. Through these stories, we are invited to contemplate the profound questions of existence, morality, and the intricate tapestry of human relationships and society.